Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Sorry. Our
Oh,
master.
okay.
We are waiting for the whole chief to come. Nobody's coming in. And now, why people are not coming in yet?
Okay, we can wait for a few minutes.
You have the Bhagavatam?
Yeah, I have the Bhagavatam.
Okay.
I have it on my computer. So.
If you want to share, I can make you admin so you can share the screen if you want.
Okay, so it's Bhagavatam 1.7.45.
Yes.
So you're going to put it on the screen, or you will? Let me see. Wait a second. Let's see. 1.7.45. Oh, I have to share the screen?
Yeah, if you want to share screen, now you can share. Probably. Prabhu, you can start. So when anybody comes, they can jump from where they met you.
Okay, 1 second. I need to attend. Okay, Hare Krishna. Gurave Gurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tabhaktaya Namo Nama Ajnana Trimendasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chaksusu Militam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Nama Vede Ramane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tata Advant Antya Chamadhecha Hari Sabhatra Giyate Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangu Langayate Grihe Ya Kripataham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarine Paramananda Madhava Dhamma Prajita Kaitavotra Paramo Masaram Satan Vedam Vastabam Atravastu Shivadon Trapatayo Mulana Srima Bhagavate Mahamune Kiteki Vaipara Ishvara Sadhyo Ridi Abarudhyatra Katipita Kishanan Nigama Kapa Falangalitan Mukan Suka Mukanto Samyutam Pibatam Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Muhura Rasika Bobibhavuka Atoyam Brahma Sutranam Bharata Chavinim Naya Gayati Vasuru Posho Vidata Paribimita Sababideti Ashanam Saram Saram Paribimita Sababidanta Saram He Sri Bhagavatam Ishati Tarasamita Shatita Shya Nayatya Shadrati Kuchi Yashava Krishna Paramapurusha Bhakti Uttupade Punsanso Kamoha Bayapaha. Hare Krishna. So we're expecting that more people will come.
Yes, Prabhu.
The people know that this is do you know by the timing? Just let's see, back to Omega is there, but George Omega is there. Let me put this verse on the screen. Okay. You can see the screen, right?
Yes, Prabhu, you can see the screen.
Okay. Let me just see. So, until people start coming, I can start. Now, we are Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse number 45. This is the episode of Dronacharya in the hands of Arjuna. Because Dronacharya, Ashwatthama is the son of Dronacharya. So Ashwatthama committed the heinous act of killing the innocent sleeping children of Draupadi, which of course resulted in a deep grief. And Arjuna had promised Draupadi that that before he wipes away her tears, he will cut off the head of Ashwatthama and bring it to Draupadi so that Draupadi can be able to bathe while sitting on the heads of Ashwatthama. So Arjuna, he had made this promise to Draupadi. At the same time, we've heard in the several verses the episode of how Ashwatthama sent the Brahmastra to Arjuna because Ashwatthama wanted to protect himself. But at the same time, Arjuna, due to the intervention of Lord Krishna, so he was able to neutralize the Brahmastra weapon, which was sent by Ashwatthama. And now Arjuna, he had caught Ashwatthama, he bound him, and he took him to Draupadi. He took him to the camp of the Pandavas and waiting, to execute the mission of killing Ashwatthama. But Draupadi, being a devotee of the Lord, even though it was so much of a grief, even though Ashwatthama, he had done this heinous act of killing innocent children, which is against the rules of against the rule of the Kshatriya codes. You're not supposed to attack someone who is harmless, not to talk of somebody who's actually sleeping. So Ashwatthama, he actually broke all codes by doing this and by killing the innocent children. Now, which means in all circumstances, in all cases, he's supposed to be killed by the act. But bringing him before Draupadi, so Draupadi, he felt a deep sense of compassion, which is the quality of a Vaishnava. And now he's now requesting Arjuna to release Ashwatthama, not to kill him. So now, Draupadi is now giving different reasons why Arjuna should not kill the son of his spiritual master. So this, we're going to go through this. It's a very, very wonderful text. So text number 45, the chapter which is the son of Dronacharya, the son of Drona punished. So I will read it. It's on the screen here, and then I will start my comments. Saisha Bhagavan Drona Raja Rupena Vatate Tashatmano Ridam Papyaste Navaga Virasu Kripi. He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife, Kripi, did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son. Papa Bashla Prabhupada. The wife of Dronacharya, Kripi, is the sister of Kripacharya, a devoted wife, who is, according to revealed scripture, the better half of her husband. He is justified in embracing voluntary death along with her husband if she is without issue. But in the case of the wife of Dronacharya, she did not undergo such a trial because she had a son, the representative of her husband. A widow is a widow only in name if there is a son of her husband existing. So in either case, Ashwatthama was the representative of Dronacharya, and therefore killing Ashwatthama would be killing Dronacharya. That was the argument of Draupadi against the killing of Ashwatthama. So I'll stop the sharing here. So here, Draupadi was against the killing of Ashwatthama because of many, many reasons. Several reasons are presented here. Because Dronacharya was the guru of Arjuna. He was Arjuna's guru. And Arjuna was the favorite disciple of Dronacharya. And actually, Dronacharya even made a promise to Arjuna that he'd be the greatest warrior, fighter of all time. He had made that promise to Arjuna. And of course, Arjuna was very, very much devoted, very, very much dedicated to his spiritual master, his astro teacher, Dronacharya. Even though Dronacharya, he had a son also, was also one of his students because they all the same age. The Pandavas and the son, they all the same age. So even though his son was in the same school, the same ashram, still Dronacharya, even though he has his son, of course, every father has affection for their son, but he has so much affection for Arjuna that He gave him the best training, the best mantra, how to properly, all the mantra that is there, according to the Dhanu Shastra. Dhanu Shastra means the scripture that is specifically meant for the warrior class. And in that, there's so many mantras in during the Vedic times. So many weapons are fought with mantras. For example, with one arrow, if one arrow is a string with the mantra, that arrow can become like thousands of arrows, by which can decimate, thousands of people at one time. And there are different weapons. That is Agni weapon, which means the fire Agni, whereby by shooting become like fire. There is the wind weapon. There is the water weapon. There's all kinds of weapons out there, and all these various weapons are done by mantras. So which means, because in the Vedic time people are so qualified, so they can chant the mantras appropriately, and this mantra will have the necessary effect. So the Arjuna was trained, was given he was given all these instruments. He was given all this necessary training. Even because of the promise that Dronacharya made to Arjuna, that yes, you'll be my best student, you'll be the greatest fighter. There was this fellow who had wanted to be trained by Dronacharya. His name was Ekalavya. So Ekalavya, he wasn't really coming from the warrior class to say. He was coming from like a lower class, like from the jungle dwellers. They call them the jungle dwellers. But he was the son of a king, but the king of the jungle dweller, Ekalavya. So he did have, the Kshatriya strength. So Ekalavya, he went to Dronacharya and asked him to be his student. He asked him to be his student, but when Dronacharya knows that Ekalavya was not really of a Kshatriya race, he refused him. He said, no, I will not be your guru. I will not allow you to be my student. But Ekalavya was very, very determined to learn the warrior, the art of fighting. He was very, very determined to learn under Dronacharya. So what he did was that inside the jungle, he built a clay of Dronacharya, a form. He built a form of Dronacharya. And then by building a form of Dronacharya, so in front of the form of Dronacharya, he was practicing the art of archery. He was practicing. And just by meditating on the form of Dronacharya, Ekalavya became the most expert in fighting. He became so expert. You can see. That's why you can see that if one, we say that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one can attain the greatest. He mentioned that he said that Mokan Karutiva Chalam, Trangulangarite Gri, Yat Kripata Hambande Sri Guru that by the mercy of the spiritual master, a mute person can speak like an orator, and a lame person can climb a mountain by the mercy of the spiritual master. So which means all the achievement in life, spiritual, even materially, it's all based on the mercy of the guru, of the spiritual master. So Ekalavya, just by meditating on the form of Dronacharya and practicing the art of archery before him, so he became very, very expert, much more than anybody that even Dronacharya had been personally teaching. So there was one time, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, let's say the Kauravas, because in this case the Kauravas include the Pandavas also. So one time they were in the jungle, and as they were in the jungle, they saw that a dog was barking. So they saw a barking dog. This dog was barking. So, and then all of a sudden, there was this person who was shooting arrow to the dog. Now he was shooting arrow to the dog, not to kill the dog. He was shooting the arrow to close the mouth of it. So he was shooting the arrow, arrow so much so that the mouth of the dog was closed with the arrow, which meant between the mouth of the dog, the arrow fill up the mouth of the dog. So you can just imagine. And the arrow did not touch the body of the dog. So which meant the dog was unable to bark anymore. So when the Kauravas saw this, they were amazed that who could such a person be? Who could such a person be that's able to perform this feat? Who could perform this feat? And Arjuna was thinking that he's supposed to be the best archer. But how come he saw someone being able to do something which he himself could not do himself? So they went to this fellow and they asked him that, who are you? And who is your guru? So Ekalavya introduced himself to the Kauravas. He said, my name is Ekalavya, and my guru is Dronacharya. So the Pandavas, they are very, very amazed, surprised. So because Arjuna was thinking that, well, my guru, this Dronacharya, he had promised me that I will be the greatest fighter. So how come he has again taught another person to be even greater than me? So all the Kauravas, so they went to the guru, Dronacharya, and they went in and submitted the report that yes, they find another of his disciples, and they narrated what this disciple has done, and he had been able to perform this feat. So Dronacharya said, I don't have such a disciple. How come? What disciple are you talking of? I don't have such disciple. So they told them that, okay, you take me to him. I want to see him. So and then they went to the jungle. They took the guru to the jungle, and they saw the Ekalavya practicing the archery. So when Ekalavya saw his guru coming, he immediately went and bowed down. He bowed down he went to worship the guru. So Dronacharya said, oh, so you are my disciple. Ekalavya said, yes, I am your disciple. I said, okay, since you have got all the training by my mercy, so therefore you have to pay a dakshin. Of course, when you have a spiritual master, after the training in spiritual life, after initiation and appropriate training, then you have to give dakshin to the guru, that you must give gift to the guru. So Ekalavya was ready to, whatever the guru wants, he was ready to do it. He just says, you Guru Maharaj, whatever you want, I will do, I will give. So Dronacharya asked, tell Ekalavya that, okay, you give me your right thumb. You give me your right thumb. That's what I want as the dakshin. So without hesitation, immediately Ekalavya, he took out his sword and cut off his right thumb. I presented this as a gift to the guru. So now his right thumb has been cut off, and then when the Ekalavya, when he tried to string the bow, the arrow, he was unable to do so. So in this way, Ekalavya was deprived of his ability to be a formidable fighter. In this way, Dronacharya, he wants to solidify that, yes, Arjun is my best student and no one can surpass him, you see. And of course, there have been so many theories about why this act was done to Eklavya. Was it because it belonged to a lower tribe, a jungle tribe? There's so many theory has been there in respect to Eklavya. But Eklavya happened to be on the side of the non-devotees. It was actually of a demoniac propensity. And Eklavya used to actually harass the Brahmanas. He used to harass them. So ultimately, Lord Krishna himself had to kill him. So I'm Eklavya, and the fact that he got the training, he got his training through a cheating process. Because after all, when we are approaching a spiritual master, it's supposed to be an agreement between the two. One accepts the spiritual master, and also the spiritual master accepts one also. So it's a mutual agreement. But it's not that one has to cheat, the cheating process. So in spiritual life, the cheating process is never recommended, by cheating. There's one very wonderful article that Slava Bhaktisiddhanta wrote about Eklavya. There's a wonderful article which he wrote, whereby Slava Bhaktisiddhanta explained of how Eklavya, he tried to get his training, he tried to get the Guru's mercy by cheating. So in spiritual life, cheating mentality, will never lead to nowhere by cheating mentality. So which means a disciple, somebody who's approaching a spiritual authority, must be submissive, must be humble, must be honest, and the truthfulness must be there. It's not by the way of cheating. Just like there was one boy who approached a great sage, I forgot his name. So one boy, he approached a great sage that he wanted to attend his Gurukul. He wanted to enter a Gurukul. So the great sage asked him that, if you want to attend my Gurukul, who is your father? Because the great sage, he only admits Brahmanas. He said, I will not take anyone who's not a Brahman. So who is your father? Who is your Gotri? Who's your, he said, Kim Gotri, I see. Who's your Gotri? What is your Gotra? What's your lineage? So you have to tell me before I can accept you. So the boy said, I don't know who's my lineage, because he has never seen his father. He said, I don't know. So the sage, asking, why don't you go ask your mother who your father is? After all, if you want to know, only the mother know who the father is of the child, because the mother, she's the greatest authority. So he said that, I don't know who my mother is. I don't know who my father is. So the sage said, you go and ask your mother who your father is. So the son went to the mother and asked that, who's my father? He said, who's my father? The mother said, I don't know who your father is. Because, why? Because she was a prostitute, prostitute who has slept with so many men. So she doesn't know, who the father is. He said, I don't know who your father is. It could be any of these men that I sleeping with. So the boy, he went back to the sage and I said that I asked my mother, she said she doesn't know who my father is because she's a prostitute. She doesn't know who my father is. So when the great sage heard this from the boy, and he said that, this boy is truthful. So therefore he has got a Brahmanic quality. Because why? Because the main quality of a Brahmana is truthfulness. He said, because this boy is truthful, so therefore I will take him to my ashram. And then the boy was accepted into the ashram, and then he was given the training. This boy became a great sage himself. So this is all the Vedic thing. Everything is based on truthfulness, like that. But Ekalavya, he had this agitated mentality. So the Dronacharya, his promise to Arjuna was to make the best the fighter. And then on the battle of Kurukshetra, of course, we know that on the battle of Kurukshetra, when the fighting was going on, Dronacharya himself was undefeatable. He was actually, no one could defeat Dronacharya. No one could defeat him. No one could defeat him, but when his son, in order to do favor to the Pandavas, because after all, even though Dronacharya himself is actually a great personality, but because of the Vedic Dharma, he was fighting on behalf of the Kauravas and fighting against the Pandavas. And the Pandavas, they represent religion personified. They represent Dharma. So ultimately, and of course, Lord Krishna is on the side of the Pandavas, is on their side. And as mentioned that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Pato Danodara, Tata Sri Vijayo Moti Dhruva Nitya Matimama, that wherever there is Krishna, wherever there's Arjuna, there will always be victory, religiosity, pious, opulence, determination, Dhruva Nitya, like that. Which means that's where the auspiciousness will always be, wherever there's Krishna and his dear devotee, Arjuna. So Dronacharya, even though he was fighting on behalf of the Pandavas, and Dronacharya himself was undefeatable, but Dronacharya, he saw that the only way, even though he was fighting on the opposite side, he actually desired the victory of the Pandavas. He desired, because at the beginning of the battle, when Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he went to Dronacharya, because Dronacharya is their common teacher, is their guru, he said, my dear guru, please give me your blessing that this battle I can become victorious. You give me your blessing. Even though Dronacharya, that Dronacharya is fighting on behalf of the enemy, the Kauravas, but still he asked the guru that, please give me your blessing, give us your blessing so that we can become victorious. So Dronacharya, he said, Vijayasmi, okay, you become, may victory be upon you. So Dronacharya actually gave his blessing to the Pandavas that yes, the victory will become upon you. So as the fighting was going on the 16th day of the battle, because the battle of Kurukshetra, Mahabharata, was fought over a period of 18 days. So on the 16th day, when it looks like Dronacharya, it's totally undebatable. So what to do? He cannot be defeated because Dronacharya he wasn't an ordinary person himself. And without his defeat, there's no chance of the Pandavas winning the battle. There's no chance. So Lord Krishna told Lord Krishna then told Yudhishthira that you go and ask Dronacharya how to defeat him. How he can be defeated. And, just like, you go to your opponent and say, how can I defeat you? So Dronacharya, he was a Brahmagyani. He knows the absolute truth, And he can see the past, and also he's a yogi. He was also a yogi. He knows also when to give up how to give up his body also. So he said, okay, well, the only way I can be defeated is if because his son is very, very dear to him, Ashwatam. If I heard something that is not very palatable regarding my son, then I will stop fighting. I will stop fighting if I heard something That is not palatable to my son. That is so. So Lord Krishna then told Yudhisthira that you make announcement that Aishwatthama is dead. He has been killed. So Yudhisthira said, I cannot say this. This is, because Yudhisthira, he has never told a single lie in his life. He never told a single lie in his life. He said, how can I lie? This is a religion. And of course, by him saying this, of course, the Lord of religion is talking to you, said that you lie, because Krishna tell you to lie, then you have to lie. But Yudhisthira, he held so much principle, he didn't want to do it. So he said, how can I say that Ashwatthama is dead when he's still alive? And Ashwatthama was one of the, what we call them, Maharati. Maharati means one of the topmost fighters. They can fight, millions and millions of opponents. He said, how can I say this? Ashwatthama is alive. So what happened was the Bhima, there was an elephant by the name Ashwatthama. So Bhima went and killed this elephant, Ashwatthama. So he killed elephant. And then make a big announcement. Ashwatthama is dead. Ashwatthama is dead. Ashwatthama is dead. Ashwatthama is dead. So when Dronacharya heard this, that Ashwatthama is dead, Ashwatthama is dead, momentarily, he stopped fighting momentarily. He stopped fighting, but immediately, that no, I cannot trust Bhima, because Bhima, Bhima is not known to be so truthful. He said, I cannot trust him. The only way I can trust that my son is dead is if I heard this from Yudhishthira Maharaj. Because at that time, the Pandavas, they've lured away Ashwatthama to a very long distance, to a totally different area. So the Ashwatthama was not even there at all. They lured him away through another process of fighting. So Dronacharya said that, well, is my son really dead? Let me hear this from Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, okay, Ashwatthama, he wanted to say the elephant. But the moment he said Ashwatthama, so the Krishna blew his conch shell that Ashwatthama is dead. So when the Dronacharya heard this from Yudhishthira Maharaj, so he summarized that, yes, his son has been dead. So he laid down his weapon, so he stopped fighting. And he started meditation, actually gave up his body. But of course, because Dhristadyumna, who was actually produced from the sacrifice, because when Draupad was humiliated by Dronacharya, so Draupad had produced a son that would kill Dronacharya, and that son was Dhristadyumna. Dhristadyumna was the brother of Draupadi. Both of them were born from the fire sacrifice together. So when the Dronacharya sat in meditation, because knowing that his son has been dead, even though due to deception, so Dhristadyumna came and cut off the head of Dronacharya. So that was the end of it. So in this way, many things went on the battle of Kurukshetra. And of course, Arjuna was not at all happy that Arjuna was not that happy that his guru had been killed this way. He actually wanted to kill Dhristadyumna himself, but Lord Krishna prevented him from doing so. So, many stories, is there. So Draupadi is saying here that, a son represents his father. A son represents the father. As mentioned, there is one, there's one from the Sanskrit, from the Vedas. It mentioned how the son is a representation of the father. So the Draupadi is telling Arjuna that our guru, Dronacharya, it's very, very dear to us. Actually, we are very, very dear to him. And whatever victory we are able to have is because of him. So how can you kill? Because his son, the Ashwatthama, is actually his guru. Dronacharya is actually present now in the form of his son. So how can you do this? You cannot do this killing. You cannot kill Ashwatthama. It mentioned Atma Bhai Putrana Mashi. As Atma Bhai Putrana Mashi, which means that the father lives in the name of his son. The father lives in the name of his son, just like in our Yoruba culture, for instance. We always believe that if the father dies, then the son will come back again. Like we call him Babatunde, like that. Babatunde, Babatunde means that, the father has come back again. The father has come back. You have Babatunde, you have Iyabo. If a girl come after the death of, the mother, she's called Iyabo, that mother has come back. And if a boy, if a son is born after the death of father or the grandfather, then the son is named Babatunde, which means he has come back. So in our tradition, West Africa, there's the belief of reincarnation is there. And that's why when Christian consciousness came to West Africa, it was easily acceptable because the underlying philosophy, which is that, we are spiritual beings and there's a reincarnation. So this is already there in the culture. So it was easily to accept Christian consciousness because of that underlying philosophy. So the Vedic scriptures say that the father, the son, is actually a representative of the father. So Draupadi is saying that how can you kill him? You cannot kill him. Killing him is killing your guru. The guru, he has done so much for us. Whatever you've been able to attain is because of him. It's because of the guru. Whatever you're able to attain, as mentioned, we say that Yasha Prashada, Bhagavad Prashado, Yasha Prashada Nagati Kutopi, that but only by the mercy of the spiritual master, one attained the ultimate goal of life. And without whose mercy, the goal of life can never be attained. So therefore, we always offer our respect to our spiritual master. So Draupadi is saying that our guru, Dronacharya himself, is not present before us as his son Ashwatthama. Due to this reason, only Mother Kripi, who gave birth to Ashwatthama, being the Dharmapatni of Dronacharya, the other half of Dronacharya, did not become a sati by getting cremated along with her husband. So usually in the Vedic time, in the Vedic period, when a man dies, so during the cremation, the wife also have to go into the wife also have to enter the cremation with the husband. This is called sati. When a man is dead and is being cremated, is being put in the funeral pyre. So the wife is also supposed to enter the fire with the husband. That's the Vedic. This is called sati. And of course, this is done voluntarily. It's not been forced, but this is done voluntarily because of, because a woman will feel that without the husband, what is the purpose of existence? There's no more need for living, no more need for existence. So therefore, she also entered the fire that time. But of course, this process has been stopped, especially in Kali Yuga, because this has become so much misused. There was a time when they used to be forced in India they used to be forced to enter the funeral pyre of their husband. And the woman, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it because, we want to enter the funeral pyre. But there was a time The women, they used to be forced to enter the base. So therefore over time, this process had been stopped. So there's no such a thing anymore in India, where the women were there to be able to enter the funeral pyre. But Mother Kripi, the mother of Ashwatthama, she did not enter the funeral pyre of her husband. Why? Because of the presence of her son. Her son is there, so if his son is present, then a woman, she's not required to undergo sati. She's not required to do that because because the son is there. And just like when Maharaj Pandu, when he died, when he passed away, so Mother Kunti, she did not enter the funeral pyre with her husband. Why? Because she had 5 sons, the Pandavas. So she had 5 sons to take care of. So who's going to look after them? So therefore, she did not undergo sati. So that's the Vedic stipulation. So Draupadi is telling Arjuna that you should not. Why do you want to deprive Kripi? Our husband again, who is not present in the form of our son. Why do you want to deprive her of that? There's so much misery is there, so much agony is there when your husband is dead, and then again your son is going to die. So what kind of agony is that? So Draupadi, even though herself, she was undergoing so much agony because her 5 children had been killed, but she was simply thinking of which agony Kripi should be undergoing. Even though she's already having one agony because her husband is dead, and now if her son is dead, that's what trauma. So what's going to happen to how much agony she will feel? So in this way, the Draupadi was feeling so much, thinking of kind of agony, tribulation that the wife of Dronacharya will feel. So this is the quality of Vaishnavas. When one is a devotee of Krishna, one actually feels much more sorrow for others than oneself. One feels much more sorrow for others than oneself. Because normally the Vaishnava quality is not that of retribution. Even though many people may do us wrong, the whole may do us wrong, but a Vaishnava will never think of any retribution whatsoever. A Vaishnava will never think of any retribution. There's one, why? Because their compassion of a Vaishnava is always as deep. It's always as deep as the ocean. Even though so much wrong is being done to them, but the Vaishnava will never think of revenge. Will never think of that. Why? Because being devotee, being the devotee of the Lord. So Lord Brahma, he was addressing the mentality of devotees. So Lord Brahma is saying, Tate no kampantam sususumsarmano, bonjana ebatna kritam vipakam, ritvat vapodi bidadam namaste, jivato yo mukti padisadayabha. So this is what Lord Brahma is saying, that my dear Lord, one who honestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So because it's devotee, they're always thinking that whatever happened to them, this is due to their own past misdeed. They never think that, someone is the cause of my misery, someone is the cause of my problem. So therefore, let me find a way to take a revenge. But a Vaishnava will never think of revenge. Whatever anybody may do to him, he think that, oh, this kind of punishment I'm getting, I've gotten something much more greater than this. Just like in the purport mentioned that. So he said that a sincere devotee honestly desires to go back to the Lord's abode. Therefore, he willingly accepts the Lord's merciful punishment and continues offering respects and obeisances to the Lord with his heart, words, and body. Such a bona fide servant of the Lord, considering all hardship, a small price to pay for gaining the personal association of the Lord, certainly becomes a legitimate son of God, as indicated here by the words diabak. Just as one cannot approach the sun without becoming fire, one cannot approach the Supreme Pure, Lord Krishna, without undergoing a rigid purificatory process, which may appear like suffering, but is in fact a curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord. So even though the Pandavas, they were severely tormented by the Pandavas, by the Kauravas, and Ashwatthama was always part of the Kauravas, all the atrocities which they were committing against the Kauravas. So Ashwatthama was also part of the Kauravas. He was also always taking part on that. Just like when Abhimanyu was killed by 7 great generals in a very unfair way. So Ashwatthama was also part of that. So but because of all this, Ashwatthama is, but because of this guru, because of the guru of the Pandavas, Dronacharya, and Ashwatthama being a representation of his father, so Draupadi was not considering the fault of Ashwatthama, was not considering his fault. He was even when he saw that he was bound up, she immediately became very mortified. Say, "Oh, release him at once. This is Brahmana. This son of our guru. And the Brahmanas, they are the guru of all they are the guru, of all the Varnas. So they release him at all. She was so mortified just seeing Ashwatthama being bound up. She was not even thinking of her own situation, that this fellow had just killed her 5 children. She was not even thinking about that. She was simply thinking of the situation that this person is currently in. So that is Vaishnavism. And that's why the Vaishnava is such that it mentioned that this material world is being maintained. Why? Because of the presence of the Vaishnava. Otherwise, Lord Krishna, he really have no reason to maintain the material world, to maintain the material universe. Because in this universe, everyone is opposed to him. So why will he be maintaining the material universe? But the Lord is maintaining the material universe. Why? Because of the presence of the Vaishnavas. That's why it's maintaining it. So therefore, it's mentioned that the Vaishnava, they are the ornament of the universe. Devotees are the ornament of the universe. So when Lord Chaitanya Prabhu, when he was teaching Sanatana Goswami, he was describing the quality of the Vaishnavism. He was describing their quality. So Mahaprabhu said, "Say Sabaguna hoi Vaishnava lakan, Sabaka hana yo koridik dasan, Kipalu akita droha satasarasam, Mido sabadanya mido suchiya kinchana, Sabo pakaraka Santa Krishnaika sarana, Akamani astira vijita sakuna, Mitabu apramata manasamani, Gambira karuna maitra kabidakshamoni." So it said, the transcendental qualities, all these transcendental qualities are the characteristics of pure Vaishnavas. They cannot be fully explained, but I shall try to point out some of the important qualities. Devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild, and clean. They are without material possessions, and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna, and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the 6 bad qualities: lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and envy. They eat only as much as required and are sober. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, and without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. That is, they do not speak whimsically. So this is the various characteristics by which Lord Chaitanya Prabhu was describing of what is Vaishnavism. And of course, in the Bhagavad Gita itself, the Lord, he said that Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmanika Vyastani, Suni Chaba Sapake Cha Panita Samadashina, the Lord said that the learned devotees, they have their equal vision, they see the equality in all beings, elephants, dog, Brahmana, outcast, and all that. So they see all that. So of course there are many quotations in the scriptures that describe the qualities of the Vaishnava. And that's why the Lord himself said the Vaishnavas are very, very dear to him. The Lord even said, he said, in fact, I am under the control of my devotees. My devotees control me, Lord Krishna said. Aham bhakta paradino ye asvatantra itvaduja. Sadhibi grashta ridayo bhakta jana priya. Lord Krishna was telling Ambarish, he said, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not independent. I sit within the core of their heart. What to speak of my devotees? Even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. Sadhavo hridaye manyam sadhuna hridayam tvaham madanyate na jananti naham tebyu managapi. So the Lord said, my devotees are always in my heart, and I'm always in their heart. My devotees know nothing but me, and I know nothing but them. And then he mentioned again in Bhagavatam, in the first canto, chapter 13, text 10. Baba Bida Bhagavata Stita Bhota Soyam Vibo Titi Kubanti Titani Santa Shtena Gadabrata. The devotees are themselves the highest place of pilgrimage, capable of giving benediction to all, for they are always carry the Supreme Lord Krishna within their heart. Thus, they purify the holy places of pilgrimage, as well as those who visit such places. We know that normally people go to places of pilgrimage, just like, I live here in Vrindavan, which is the supreme holy place of pilgrimage. So people come from all over the places. They come, they do parikrama, just now. And also now we are having a Kumbh Mela. So many people come to Vrindavan this time of the year. But people are basically coming to, to dump their sin, especially they bathe in the holy water of Yamuna. So they bathe there so that they can dump or they can cleanse their sin. They do parikrama and all that. But what happened is that all these holy places, holy river, they become polluted by the bathing of the sinful people. Now, who does the cleaning? Who does the cleaning? Is when the saintly devotees come, they also take bath. They also take bath in the holy place of pilgrimage. But their bathing is not for the purpose of their purification. Their bathing is to actually purify the place of pilgrimage, which have been polluted by the people. So they actually cleanse the places of pilgrimage. That's what the devotees do. So therefore, it mentioned how the place of the pure devotees of the Lord are the place of pilgrimage personified. So therefore, it's instructed that one should not go to a place of pilgrimage just for the sake of visit. The one should go there for the sake of visiting, to see the sadhus and hear from them and get instruction from them. So, the highest caliber of devotees are the Pandavas. The Draupadi, it's the Lord Krishna is, when the Pandavas, when they were going through so many tribulations, whenever Draupadi just say Krishna's name, hey Govinda, immediately Krishna will appear. Immediately, wherever Krishna is, he will immediately appear whenever Draupadi, call upon her. And we have so many stories. So this act of compassion, the act of compassion of a devotee of the Lord is very, very, very deep. Very, very deep like the ocean. Just like we cannot measure the depth of the ocean, similarly also, we cannot measure the compassionate nature of devotees. We cannot measure it. So so Draupadi, he was when he saw Ashwatthama being banned, he became very, very, very sad that how could this person be like this? This is a Brahmana, a son of his guru. How can this be like this? She was totally not thinking of her own situation, totally not thinking of her situation. So this is devotees' mentality. And that's why the Lord is always very dear to his devotees, just as devotees are very, very dear to him. So I mentioned that if you want to see Krishna, how do you see Krishna? You see Krishna by seeing Krishna's devotee. There's one statement, it mentioned that there may be, they said the doubt may be there. If one is worshiping the Lord, doubts may be there if one will attain perfection or not. Doubt may be there. But if one worships the devotees of the Lord, there is no doubt that one will attain perfection. There's no doubt. So which means bhakti to pure devotees of Krishna, of the Lord, is much more valuable than trying to render bhakti to the Lord himself. So I'm going to stop here. If there is any question or comments, you can please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the class. While you were speaking, Krishna Prabhu has to go for some engagement, so he asked me to moderate on his behalf. So thank you very much for the wonderful class. And we'll request devotees, if anyone asks a question, please kindly unmute and or send a message, and we can.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
thank you very much for your lectures. Right from the beginning of your presentation, you made mention that Ashwatthama commit a heinous crime by killing the innocent children of Draupadi. I would like to know, are they truly innocent? Because I know by any activity, anything that happens is as a result of your karma. So these children, are they truly innocent? That's my first question. Actually, I have two questions.
Yes, because they were sleeping. They were sleeping in their camp, and Ashwatthama just went inside where they were sleeping and killed them where they were sleeping. They were totally defenseless. So it's not that they were alive, it's not that they were awake and they could have defended themselves, but Ashwatthama just went inside there and just killed them all. And of course, Ashwatthama was, he got the blessing of Lord Shiva to do that. So he got the blessing of Lord Shiva, and then he committed this heinous act. And of course, there's so many reasons to that. But the main thing, just to answer the question, of killing the innocent people. So they were innocent because they were sleeping. The battle was already finished. So they were resting in the room, and this fellow went and killed them all. So they were innocent. And of course, yeah, nothing happened without the sanction of the Lord, of course. And everyone is basically the instrument of any particular actions that happen to us. Someone is always the instrument that is there. And that's why the wheel of karma is always ongoing. Karma is a repeated cycle that is ongoing. But according to the principles of Kshatriyas, and a defenseless warrior is not supposed to be attacked. A defenseless warrior is not supposed to be attacked. If you do that, then you yourself, you deserve to be killed. Somebody's not carrying a weapon, defenseless. How are you going to get? Not to talk about when somebody's actually sleeping. So that's what the Ashwatthama did. So therefore, he deserves to be killed, but Draupadi sees this differently. So that Ashwatthama, his father is present in his form, so therefore he should not be killed and all that. And this is going to be in the next few verses. We're going to see this because in the next few verses, even Arjuna himself, he was resisting to kill Ashwatthama. Yudhishthira Maharaj also, he agreed with Draupadi. It was only Bhima who was he was ready to kill him. And Bhima said, no, you have to kill him, No. And of course, so Lord Krishna has to intervene and do a situation whereby Ashwatthama can be killed and at the same time not killed. So this we're going to read in the next few verses. Okay.
Okay.
So what's your next question?
Okay, my next question has to do with so in the case of Dronacharya on the battlefield, when he heard Ampalata news, he stopped fighting, as you made mention. So is that case, why does the Pandavas go ahead and kill him? Because he stopped fighting, even though it might not be having. Is he having the weapon at that time? Maybe he might drop the weapon. That means he surrendered himself. But why is it that they still go ahead and kill him? That's my next question. Hare Krishna.
So the Pandavas did not kill him. It was Drishtadyumna who killed Dronacharya.
Oh.
Because Drishtadyumna he was born for the purpose of killing Dronacharya. Because his father was Drupad, was Maharaj Drupad. His father was Drupad, and Drupad performed fire sacrifice to get someone who will kill Dronacharya, and that person was Drishtadyumna who killed him. So when Dronacharya, lay off his weapon, he's going to give up fighting. He actually already gave up his life already. It was his body was already lifeless. It was simply. It was just like kind of like ceremonial thing that Drishtadyumna went and cut off his head. So in this way, is said to be killed that way. Because Dronacharya, he was a great yogi himself. Okay, another question. I think
yes, Sahadev Prabhu.
Thank you very much.
Sahadev Prabhu, you can unmute and.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Shri ISVARA Prabhu. Thank you so much for the class.
Hare Krishna.
I'm happy to understand the meaning of Babatunde today. That's pretty much a very common name, but I never understood the meaning until today. And I was so happy to hear you say about, especially in West African culture, how we have lots of similarities with the Vedic teachings. So there was once one great personality came to speak on our platform, and I was saying something in regards to this, that some of us took to Krishna consciousness because we didn't find it so strange. It was pretty much our traditions and cultural beliefs. So I was happy to hear somebody like you affirm what I said. We have lots of similarities, but back to the topic we're discussing about Ashwatthama and Mother Draupadi. I find Mother Draupadi's excuses to be quite emotional and not very scriptural, unlike Arjun giving reasons why he doesn't want to fight before Krishna, in the sense that she is saying, Draupadi is saying that Dronacharya was our guru, so we cannot kill the son. But in reality, should that be the situation, that because somebody is this, when that person errs, when that person makes a mistake, you don't have to punish him? Is that the case?
Well, as I said earlier in the lecture, that Draupadi, even though so much wrong was done to her, the fact that she's a devotee, Vaishnava, so being a devotee of Krishna, so she has to bring the scriptural reality into the play. That the fact that Ashwatthama is represent his father. His father is present in the form of his son, and the fact that the wife of Dronacharya, she did not accept sati. She did not voluntarily go into funeral prayer when her husband was being cremated. Why? Because her son was alive. Because now, if her son is killed now, so which means our grief will have no limit if her son is killed. So this is the reason by which Draupadi was given. And this kind of reason, it's not just sentiment, it's actually out of reality. Because this is the very nature of devotees. The devotees are like this. Just like when Lonitananda was he said, was broken, was, Madai, he smashed a pot on the head of Lonitananda. Well, Lonitananda told him to chant, but instead, Madai, he put broke a pot on the head of the Lord of Lonitananda, so much so that the blood was rushing out of his head. And when all the devotees went to Lord Chaitanya Prabhu, that this is what has happened to Nitai, so Mahaprabhu immediately rushed to the spot and took up his Sudarshan chakra and was ready to kill this fellow, was ready to kill Madai. But immediately, Lonitananda said, no, what you are doing, Madai, what are you doing? If you kill him, then you have to kill everybody in this Kali Yuga, because in this Kali Yuga, everyone has the same mentality. Everyone's got the same. So if you kill this fellow, then you have to kill everybody else. But your mission is not to kill the demons, but your mission is to simply kill the demoniac mentality. And what has happened to me is a very little thing. As a matter of fact, actually, Jagai he actually helped. He actually forbid him from hitting me further. So therefore, I'm not considering this offense of Madai. I'm not considering it. So my dear Lord, please show your mercy by simply deliver this person. Because if you deliver him, then your mission, then you will truly be known as Patita Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen. So this is the devotees' mood, their mood. That the whole world may be doing wrong against them, but they simply see this as a way. They simply see how they can actually be very compassionate to their own tormentor. I mean, even in the Christian theology, you find Jesus was praying for those who are tormenting him. He was praying for them. He said, my dear Lord, forgive these people because they don't know what they are doing. Because if people, they will not commit sin if they know what they are doing. But normally because people don't know what they are doing, so therefore Jesus was said that, my dear Lord, please forgive them. It's because all sinful activities within this material world is all due to ignorance. It's due to ignorance that we commit all the sinful activities. Whereas when someone is in knowledge, they don't do so, because devotees, they are in knowledge, they are the lost devotees, so they know all these things. So therefore they don't, to them, they always maintaining their compassion. It mentioned that a Vaishnava is Paraduka Doki, is very, very happy when he sees the happiness of others, and is very, very unhappy when he sees the unhappiness of others. So therefore, if his heart pains when he sees the suffering humanity. Even though humanity think that they are enjoying but they don't know how they so much suffering the materialistic existence. So devotees feel pain. And that's the main reason why devotees preaches. They preaches because of that only, not for any other reason. That's what to preach. So therefore, the retribution, the revenge, devotees do not. They don't retribute. They don't take revenge. They simply see whatever happened to them. This is due to their own misdeeds, so they accept it. So therefore, Draupadi, she was not accepting the fact that this person had committed so much offense, but he was simply accepting the kind of misery that will come as a result of killing in Ashwatthama. So therefore, she was imploring to Arjuna that yes, do not commit irreligious acts by killing this fellow. And Arjuna was actually agreeing with her also. Arjuna was also agreeing with her. So was Yudhishthira Maharaj was also agreeing with Draupadi also. Okay. This is the height of religiosity. This is the height of religiosity. So, and that's why I mentioned that the Vaishnavas are very, very rare. Very, very rare, the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Maybe one day you will come to India. I can get to see you.
Yes, pray for me, Prabhuji.
Come to Vrindavan.
I will, by your blessing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Salika Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
There are no other answers, but I have a question myself.
Okay, I will have a question.
I have a question myself.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just thinking about this pastime.
Okay.
Go ahead, Salika.
Sadhdev Prabhu, you want to ask another question?
No, go ahead. I will ask after you, Prabhuji.
Okay. I was just going to ask a question. As Prabhu was answering your question, I was just thinking of the pastimes of Dronacharya, how he was killed, and Lord Krishna's statement to Duryodhana, when Duryodhana was complaining the way Bhimasena killed him without following the codes. We remember that in that pastime, Lord Balaram actually wanted to kill Bhima. Krishna has to pacify him that please don't kill him. And he succumbed to that plea of Krishna and then let Bhima to stay. And then he explained that Duryodhana, Dronacharya, and all of the great warriors that died on the battlefield, they died as a result of their mistakes or sinful activities. And we understand that all of these personalities are in Krishna's Leelas. They are not ordinary personalities. But in our today, Kali Yuga, and we see sometimes devotees also act very whimsically. Similarly, a devotee, the chanting, sometimes they're even senior devotee, or sometimes they're not senior devotees. I can remember one very nice, one interesting story. So in the early days, there was one Bhakta Jeremiah. One day I was cooking for Krishna, and I've not offered the bhog. I was cooking, and I'm the one to do the bhog offering. So I've not cooked. Neither do I call devotee to serve. He came into the kitchen and took the prasadam and ate. So I was very furious. I have to cook all over again. But then when I tried to chastise him, he told me Krishna is through the mouth of the Brahmanas. And this is not and this is a person who, as at that time, he has not even been initiated. He was just a bathtub. So, but I'm just giving that as an example. Sometimes devotees, it might be initiated or not initiated, then act somehow funny. And looking at the way Drupadi's appeal not to kill Ashwatthama and all of that. So I was thinking, when the devotee misbehave, one who is considered to be a devotee, when he misbehave, can we also consider such a person to be acting and then just be mild and not punish him?
Well, in devotional life, there's what we call a saracha. Saracha means the behavior of the devotees. Normally, we don't allow anybody to live in our ashram unless they are ready to follow this behavior of devotees. You know, because not everyone will say I'm devotee is a devotee. So if someone come and where you're cooking and eat, so that fellow is a mad person. That's crazy fellow who think that I'm eating, so therefore Krishna is eating. So that's a mad fellow. Normally we should not allow such mad fellow to be in our in our temple. Such mad fellows, it's only a mere person who will think that way. So of course, there's no limit of those mad people. Some of them are, there are plenty of them there. But apart from that, it's just a matter of how we give training to people and how we can get them to accept the reality. And of course, if someone commit mistake, we don't, unless we are temple authority ourselves, because temple authority can find a level of chastisement when somebody is committing a mistake. So that is there. So we don't just necessarily say, oh, whatever somebody's done is okay. No. This like Mayavad. Mayavad means so it's okay. Everything is when it's okay. No, everything is not okay. If someone misbehaving in the temple, we cannot allow the person to go away with it. The person must be admonished or sent away to rectify, must be made to rectify his mistake. And the person cannot rectify that, we send the person away. We don't want him around the temple. So there's the devotees' behaviors, have to be there. Otherwise, such a person just polluted the whole atmosphere. So we cannot allow any mad person to just say any kind of nonsense and say, oh, this is Krishna. We cannot allow that. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Sadhguru Prabhu, can I ask my question?
Yes, go ahead, Sadhguru Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Well, I'm so grateful and really appreciative to see all of you here today. But once Bhakti Tuta Maharaj came to our yatra in West Africa, Ghana, and he asked a question. Assuming you went out on Sankirtan, you came back and the temple building is gone. There is no single devotee around. What would you do? Nobody was able to answer, but his answer was, you just sit down and chant. So even though there may be 2, 1, 3 people here, we are still here discussing Krishna, which is beautiful. So I thank you all for being here. My question is, in fact, Ishwara Prabhu, you really delved into this question I have very nicely in the course of your lecture about sati, that is wives voluntarily throwing themselves into the funeral pyre of their deceased husband. But I think these are some of the reasons why, as ISKCON organization, we have to be very careful how things get adjusted and become the ultimate change, because correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding about sati is when Mother Sati felt so offended and had to immolate herself because her father showed so much disrespect to her husband, Lord Shiva. But even at that time, Mother Sati did not throw herself into a fire. Her husband was not dead. And Mother Sati did not have a child at the time. She brought the fire element within her body and consumed her body to death. So how did that actually infiltrate into the tradition that if a husband dies, the wife can voluntarily throw herself into the funeral pyre and consume herself to death? Don't you think that was something like a wishy-washy thing that people just threw into it, that it is not originally Shastric? It's just a question I want to find out from you.
Well, it is Vedic. Now, because there's what we call Dharma Patni. Dharma Patni means the second half of the husband. So the wife is the second half of the husband. So that's why she's called Dharma Patni. So when the one half is gone, so the other half is basically useless. Basically, what is the value of the other half? Because one half is gone, so what's the value of the other half? So this is there by which the woman in the very time, when the husband is gone, when the husband died, then they voluntarily, enter into sati. They voluntarily enter the funeral pyre, just like when Dhritarashtra, when he left, so Mother Gandhari, she went to the funeral pyre. Now, because it's actually becoming a religious act, so what happened is that she entered the funeral pyre, so she will go to the same destination with the husband. Whatever, normally, because people live a religious life, so when someone died, they normally go to a heavenly planet. So the wife died, they also go to the same place with the husband. They go to the same planet, and they continue to be, husband and wife together. I remember one time I was with a friend of mine in America. I was in California. So I was discussing with my friend. I said, look, Prabhu, you know that if your wife serves you very, very nicely, very devotedly, that in the next life, when you die, when you go to the spiritual world, she will also come to you. She will go with you to the same place, and both of you will continue to be husband and wife. So these people said, no, of course not. I don't want that. He said, no way, no more. So anyway, it's just a funny part. So normally in the Vedic times, the wife goes to the same planet. So that's why the sati, the Vedic sati was done those days in the Vedic time. But over the past few hundred years, I think the last time this was done in India was around 400 years ago. This last time this was done in India was about 400 years ago. Since that time, it has not been done again. Because, up to that time, there's so many highly devoted women to the husband. So when the husband died, they cannot live again. So therefore, they enter sati, they do sati. But nowadays, no more. That's it. It's illegal. No one can do it. So it's completely, because, nowadays the women, they value their bodies more than the husband. so that's it. That's the reality.
Okay. And also, like you said in your lectures, some people were actually forcing the women to enter into the pyre, which is
that was going on. That was going up to that was going on. So they had to stop it. So the government had to forcibly stop it.
Yeah.
So that was going on that time.
Yeah.
Because it become like a matrima. Because if the woman is there, maybe there are properties and all that stuff. So let's get rid of her. So they force her to into the funeral pyre of the husband. So it's criminal affair actually. Yeah. Not anymore.
Well, I think my last question will have to do with different types of guruship. It seems to me Dronacharya was a different kind of guru, like comparing him to somebody like Srila Prabhupada, in the sense that I do not think Srila Prabhupada would say, I would want Tamal Krishna Goswami to be the best devotee of all my disciples. Unlike Dronacharya, who promised Arjuna that he will be the best of all times, up to the point that he had to forcibly make, what's the name of this devotee? Ekalavya, thank you. Right, Ekalavya, to cut off his tongue. Because Ekalavya was actually better than Arjuna. But so do we have like different types of guruship? Maybe he wasn't like trying to have disciples to train them to become devotees. Like maybe he was like, in today's world, we say maybe a sports instructor or something like that, because he was training him in martial arts, not necessarily training him to become a devotee of Krishna. I'm not very sure.
The trainings also include not just martial arts, also include the religious life also, not just martial arts. But you also saw that they are also the Pandavas, they were very highly qualified because they are intimately connected with Krishna. So, and of course, as I mentioned, Ekalavya, he wanted to be the best by cheating. He wanted to be the best by cheating. So therefore, actually, I should get you this article, which was written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. He actually wrote on this. There's a very nice article on this Ekalavya. I don't know if Srivas Prabhu has seen that article before, but I can send you. I can put it on the forum.
Yeah,
the article.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, very nice article. We talk about the cheating, about how somebody had to be a disciple by cheating, and this is not it's not a process. So it's very, very wonderful article that we should learn. So when we think of Ekalavya, we should think of a disciple with a cheating mentality. And this is not kind of disciple anybody wants to have. Everything should be by mercy. We should pray for the mercy of the Guru, not by trying to cheat the Guru. You want to get something higher by cheating. So that cheating, it's never authorized by the scriptures. So that was Ekalavya's mentality. It's hard to cheat the Guru to get something. Because Dronacharya, he wasn't different from his farm was made. His motive was made, and his motive was as powerful as his personal farm. So Ekalavya was able to become perfect just by practicing before the motive of Dronacharya. Even though Dronacharya already told him that he's not going to take him as a disciple. So he cheated. That's cheating. And because of that, he faced all those circumstances. And ultimately, Lord Krishna himself had to kill him ultimately. He was killed by Lord Krishna himself because he was so antagonistic to the Brahmanas, so he was to the sadhus. So he was killed by the Lord himself, Ekalavya.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I don't know if you still have some time. I'm seeing George Amiga's hand up. We spent 1 hour 30 minutes already. So what do we do?
Okay, ask your quick question. You can ask quick question.
Okay, George Amiga, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much. I would like to ask, relating to the woman has to enter the fire after the death of the husband, as compared to what we do in our hometown, whereby if the husband leaves the body, the woman is being asked to remain unmarried till death, sometimes voluntarily, sometimes they forced to. So how can you relate the two? Is it Vedica also?
Normally, a chaste woman, when the husband died, should not remarry. Otherwise, a chaste woman, if the husband died, she remarries, is considered a prostitute. So that's the Vedic principles. You know, of course, in the Vedic times, when the woman entered the fire, but these days, if a husband died, the woman should stay single. She should remain unmarried. Otherwise, she's considered to be a prostitute. So of course, we're not here in India. You find many places. Of course, many things has been exploited. You know, whereby the women, they are, especially the young women, if their husband is dead, they are forced to be, to go and stay in a place where the widows live, and then they're exploited there. So many things goes on. But the reality is that a woman stays unmarried for the rest of her life. That is the reality. Otherwise, she become a prostitute. So that's considered prostitution. Okay. And of course, we live in a different part of the world. It depends on what is done in the Vedic times or in India. This cannot be imposed on other parts of the world, Africa, whatever it is, and other part of the world. It may be difficult for us to try to enforce that. After all, people, they are the product of Kali Yuga. Nowadays, it's not uncommon to see women, even devotee women, marrying 3, 4, 5 times. It's not an uncommon thing. Because everyone is a product of Kali Yuga. So the affirmation that Kali does Nidhi Rajan, and in this age of Kali, there's no good quality at all. So therefore, the Harinam is introduced. Okay, just chant Hare Krishna, and then you can become purified. Otherwise, nobody's following any very principles. So this is the age of Kali. Kali Yuga is being described as being like a dog. Kali Kukura Kadana, that this Kali Yuga is like a dog. It's like a dog. So therefore, what's the way by which the humanity can be saved from the Kali Yuga dog mentality is by taking shelter of the holy name of the Lord. That's the only way. There's just no other way. Okay, so thank you very much. I guess we can end here.
Okay, so I will request, usual tradition, all the devotees to unmute themselves.
Oh, it's just a minute. Maybe Shiva's probably would like to make some comment.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for the beautiful class. What I would just say is that I think I heard that the sati was accepted by women of Vedic times because the separation, the pain of separation from the husband was so severe that they would prefer to just end their lives instantly. That for a Dharmic chaste woman to live without a husband for any number of years is so painful that the woman wants to finish her life immediately. So they said that the pain of separation is even more than the pain of entering the fire, because that is instantaneous, within a few minutes, gone. But to live without a husband for any number of years is considered too painful to experience. So that's one of the reasons why in Vedic times, these widows would voluntarily, there is a voluntary thing, they will voluntarily enter the fire in order to end the miseries they will go through in the absence of their husband. That's a comment I just thought of chipping in. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna is great. Wouldn't that be considered committing suicide?
Yes.
Well,
it's suicidal.
It's not a suicide. It's not a suicide. Because it is a religious act. That's why I said that she will go to the same planet as the husband.
The husband, he shares the same results with the husband.
Yeah, she go to the same planet. They go to the same destination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, S.B.1.7.45 Prabhu.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So let all of the devotees unmute now, and let us chant a powerful Hare Krishna mantra for S.B.1.7.45 Prabhu for this wonderful class today. Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
S.B.1.7.45 Prabhu ki.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhupada ki
Yeah.
jai.
Thank you very much. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Haribo.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Wow.
His Grace Salika Prabhu ki.
Jai. Prabhu, I'll call you after this.
No problem, Prabhu. I'm
Haribo.
waiting. I'm thinking of having a National Gora Purnima in my house. National Gora Purnima. I want to invite all the temples to come here because I want to use this program as an opportunity to open my building that Krishna has made for himself. So I'm trying to invite all the devotees nationally to come to